Darren.
Darren McCaffrey from Sky News. Well, first of all, you said that you are going to run this election. Can you please tell us where? And second of all, Nigel Farage resigned as leader after the last general election when he failed to win his ballots.
Didn't last long.
It didn't last long. If you fail to win in whatever constituency you run, and you get no MPs, in fact, if the vote goes down, will you consider your position as leader after this election?
Well, firstly, I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to stand because we're going to announce it tomorrow, okay? And as for me resigning, look, UKIP has got a great future ahead of it. It really has. In terms of membership, the party is pretty much where it was at the referendum. We're going to be financially secure. I think we're in with a chance of winning a number of seats at this election. We will be targeting sensibly in terms of financial resources and manpower. And if we weren't successful, and by the way, I don't believe for a second we will fail. I think we will have seats in the House of Commons after this election. Would I consider my position? Would I resign? No, I don't think I would, because I think UKIP has a fantastic future ahead.
Well, let me put it this way. What is success? What is success?
Hang on, you've had one. You've had one. Michael, how are you? Oh, by the way, can I just say, congratulations, because in many ways this is your election. If it wasn't for the work you've done and your investigative prowess, then maybe this election wouldn't have been called in the first place. So we should call this the Crick election.
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
Get the microphone.
Okay.
Only a couple of months ago, you were telling us how your heart was in Stoke-on-Trent. You were committed to Stoke-on-Trent. You were going to buy a house in Stoke-on-Trent. Shouldn't you stand in Stoke-on-Trent Central again? That's there's so many people there disappointed if you don't.
Well, look, as I say, I'm going to announce tomorrow where I'm going to stand at this election. What I will say about Stoke-on-Trent Central is that we cut Labour's majority in half. It's only about 2,500 majority there. We have a fantastic branch in Stoke-on-Trent Central, and they will be out campaigning, and there will be a candidate there at this election, but I'm not prepared to say whether it will or not be me.
And can you tell us who the manager of Boston United is? Do you know who the manager of Boston United is?
Why Boston? Right, next question.
Hi, Peter Walker from the Guardian. One of your candidates for London, Anne-Marie West, has described Islam on Twitter as evil, but it's not just her. Also, Gerard Batten, who obviously is one of your MPs on the senior figures, wrote a blog in March calling Islam, not just radical Islam, but all Islam, a death cult born and steeped in 1400 years of violence and bloodshed. He said the terrorists on the vanguard of Mohammedanism, they set out to cow the non-Mohammedan population so that moderate Muslims can get on establishing Sharia courts. Do you believe in this, or are you content to see your party perhaps push this position where it's appealing to anti-Islam?
Well, firstly with Anne-Marie Waters, the National Executive Committee is meeting this afternoon, so we will be ratifying candidates at that point, and I will be looking at evidence into the things that has been said over the years. But what I want to say about this integration agenda, which has been somehow perceived as being anti-Muslim, it's not. Actually, it's all about equality. It's all about breaking down barriers. It's all about integrating people in society. Because as you know, a number of reports recently have shown, Trevor Phillips, Dame Casey, have shown that integration is failing. Communities are becoming more and more divided. And I would argue, and I know the headline from our press conference last week was our ban on face coverings. I would argue that face coverings prevent people from integrating fully in society. So I see it as a positive move. Hang on, next question now.
Since McAvinny LBC, you talked about the success that UKIP has had in large part to Nigel Farage. How much of a role will he play in this election, and what advice has he given you?
Yeah, I mean, I speak to Nigel all the time, and in fact I was on the phone to him this morning. Nigel will play a front of house role in this election. You'll be seeing him on TV, you'll be hearing his dulcet tones on the radio. You know, he will be at the forefront of the campaign, and he'll be out there helping UKIP candidates.
Are you worried about being overshadowed by him?
No.
Lucy Fisher from The Times. YouGov polling has suggested that 40% of UKIP's 2015 voters will go to the Tories. Less than half UKIP's 2015 voters will stick with you. Nathan Gill, the former Welsh leader, says UKIP has more ex-members than members in Wales now. Doesn't that all suggest that UKIP is in terminal decline?
No, I don't think it does, and our membership across the UK hasn't fallen really since the referendum. Nathan's talking specifically about Wales, and obviously we all know that there is a bit of a unique situation with UKIP in Wales. As for the polling, you know, there's a 6-week campaign ahead. Let's just see what happens in that time. One thing I'm quite confident about is that our poll ratings will go up. I always suspected that we would take a hit in the first week with the amount of publicity that the Prime Minister has been getting as a result of calling this election anyway. And as I say, you know, vote share is important, but it isn't that important. And we learned that from 2015, whereby we got 13%, 4 million votes, and came back with 1 seat. We've got to target more sensibly this time round.
More important to win MPs than to gain a significant...
Of course it is. I mean, the one thing that our unfair voting system ensures is that there's no prizes for second places in first past the post elections. Yeah, hang on. Yes, and then...
You said the job on Brexit, John Ashmore from Politics, you said the job on Brexit was half done. When it's fully done, what will UKIP do then?
UKIP will have other issues to campaign on. We'll have a fully fledged domestic agenda. The manifesto this time will be radical on domestic issues, and I think UKIP broke out of that sort of single issue mentality a number of years ago, and I think the 2015 manifesto was an excellent piece of work. Suzanne Evans is writing the manifesto once again and is working away as we speak, and this manifesto again will have radical domestic policies, but as in 2015, everything will be costed properly. Yes?
From ITV News. I just wondered what the voters should make of the energy behind this campaign. You're only standing in, say, around 100 seats, you're polling in single figures, and you seemed reluctant to stand in the first place as party leader. So should people think that this is a gung-ho campaign, or is it a bit lukewarm? That's how it might appear to some voters.
Well, first, I'll deal with the idea that UKIP was going to stand in 100 seats. Heaven knows where that report came from, okay? That is utter baloney, right? We're not going to stand in 100 seats. UKIP is going to cover the vast majority of the country. Now, I've said that we're going to stand down in certain seats for true Brexiteers of all political affiliations, but we're actually talking tens, not hundreds, okay? So UKIP will be standing in the vast majority of this country. As for me, was I reluctant? Well, do you know what? I had a lot to weigh up. And I'll tell you why. Because unlike Jeremy Corbyn and Theresa May and Tim Farron, I'm not in Parliament and I'm not sitting on a safe seat. They will probably visit their constituencies maybe once or twice during the whole campaign. If you're the UKIP leader and you're going to have a go at it, then you have to really dig down within the seat. You have to be based there on a regular basis. We saw that happened with Nigel Farage in the 2015 general election. So I had to have conversations within the party as to how they wanted to run the election campaign. Did they want me more as a roaming figurehead all over the country, speaking to branches and whatnot, or did they really want me to stand in this election and have a go? What the decision I've made is for the good of the party. First, and then over to you, Craig. So Ben.
The protesters who were in here earlier, Paul, they accused UKIP of being a racist party and you personally of being a bigot. They're right, aren't they?
No, they're not right. It's disappointing that certain people in politics don't want to debate. What they want to do is to shout people down in an almost aggressive fashion. And, you know, we're above that. You would never have UKIP members or UKIP candidates acting in such an undemocratic and abhorrent fashion. Yes, Chris.
Two quick questions. How much cash does UKIP have on the eve of the election? Is the party broke? And the second question is, you stood 600 seats in 15 and the same for 10. Is that the same number this time? If you don't stand against 10s, that implies 600, you will contest in 600 seats.
Yeah, UKIP isn't broke, far from it. Okay, so the finance isn't going to be a problem going into this election. And as for standing in 600 seats, we will stand in the vast majority of the country. Okay? There'll be a lot more than 325. Okay? Last question, and then... Yes.
What do you make of this idea put forward by European leaders that if Northern Ireland and Ireland vote to reunify, that Northern Ireland should be allowed to rejoin the EU?
I don't think there's any chance whatsoever that Ireland will vote to reunify. I don't think there's any appetite for that in Dublin, and I certainly don't think there is any appetite amongst many communities within Northern Ireland as well. So I don't think that is going to be an issue at all. Okay, thank you very much for coming. I'm prepared to do one-to-ones in what was described yesterday, by the way, by the Independents as a broom cupboard out the back there. So thank you very much for coming.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.